I'm Marcus Blake here at the studio at That Nerd Show, and we are interviewing Max Topplin and Jordan Hayes from the movie The Toll. Welcome to That Nerd Show. I wanted to say I thought this was a very interesting film. I love the twist at the end. It was more than just, some crazy guy trying to kill somebody. So let's start with this. Since you guys are no stranger to horror films, what made you choose this particular film? And I'll start with you, Jordan.
I was really, when I first read the script, I was really drawn to just how real it felt. I think that our writer-director, Michael Nader, he was able to tap into what, a lot of young women probably feel when they're in ride shares, and just the kind of uncertainty and how cavalier we are about it these days, just getting in a car with a stranger. I was really impressed with the character of Cammy and the fact that she's just so strong and a survivor. And I thought that the dialogue was great between Cammy and Spencer. It was very real. And I love doing horror movies that just are grounded in reality, where you almost forget that you're watching a horror movie. If you're not, you need the scary parts, it just almost feels like a drama.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I noticed was who takes a ride share out in the middle of nowhere?
Cammy's who does it. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Max? I know you were in the remake of Carrie, but what made you choose this particular horror movie?
So I think, when we receive this script, when we receive any script, we really look at what is the social commentary behind it. And to me, back, about 2 years ago when we made this thing and when it came across our desk, we just thought, holy moly, what is more current than the rideshare revolution? It's become so nonchalant. And again, we both use it. I love it. I use it, before the pandemic, I used it every day. So this isn't an anti-rideshare movie in any way, shape, or form, but it is a questioning our societal norms and our interaction with technology. And so immediately, right off the top, I was into it. And then as you read, you're like, okay, now it's turning into a very kind of, in some ways, classic supernatural horror movie, which, again, loved, thought he built such a cool world. But as Jordan said, it's still grounded in reality, grounded in an interaction that most of us have on a daily basis. And so that, to me, was exciting.
Well, again, this wasn't a normal horror film where it's like Wrong Turn, where you're dealing with crazed cannibals or killers or whatever. I think the biggest fear your characters face is you're having to face your own past. Mm-hmm. And you're having to do it in front of somebody else where you're very vulnerable, while also worrying about the other person. Is this person going to murder me? So there's a lot of interesting metaphors, like the whole going around in circles, which I thought was kind of interesting as well. Do you, as actors, I feel like good actors always kind of put themselves a little bit into their characters. Jordan, to you, is there a part of who you really are that was in your character of Cammy?
Yeah, I think anytime that I take on a character, I always try and find similarities, even if it's not direct similarities, but just to be able to tap into that empathy. So even though, I don't have the same past or I haven't had the same experiences as Cammy, I could certainly empathize with what she had gone through based on experiences in my own life. For me, it's definitely part of my process as an actor. As I said, it helps me kind of keep my thumb on the humanity of the character, where I don't feel like I'm playing something, more like I'm embodying something.
Right. How about you, Max? How much of you was in your character?
So I think not so much of me, but of people I love and people I've grown to know for much of my life. I feel like the level of social anxiety that I felt this character had is something that I have seen many, many people deal with. And that's something I wanted to bring in, make sure it was authentic and kind of coming from an organic place. And hopefully that's what was accomplished.
Now, I got to ask, anytime you're dealing with a movie where you feel you get to learn new skills or, any kind of weapons training, I mean, bow and arrow, I don't know if you're an archer or not, but that had to have been like, wait, I get to shoot a bow and arrow?
Yeah,
Sign me up.
it
Yeah,
was
did
so
that
much
make-
fun. In training for it, Marcus, like I never thought. I made so many little stupid videos of me thinking I was the coolest guy in the world at the bow and arrow like birthday party for kids. You know, I was
Right.
getting back for $15.
Okay, you can admit it. We're a nerd show. You thought you were Green Arrow for a little while, didn't you?
I absolutely
No,
did.
there's no
I
shame
did,
in that.
Marcus.
Best part was there's one point in the film where it's super intense and Max has to pull out his bow and arrow, and when we shot it on the day, it was the most pitiful arrow that just it just fell.
Yeah. Oh my
Oh,
God.
So if he ever gets that confidence and says, "Cammy, put an apple on your head. I can nail this," the answer is automatically no.
I'm gone. I'm out.
No,
Out.
no.
Yeah.
So again, there's so many interesting things that I think made this kind of a really good horror film beyond, just the Toll Man and what you really have to pay. What did you guys find the scariest part of it, whether from filming or reading the script? And I'll start with you, Jordan.
Yeah, I think for me, it was something that you touched on earlier. It's really the confrontation of the past, and that's what the Toll Man makes you do. It makes you relive your biggest fears and your biggest traumas. So, yeah, I think for me that was the scariest thing, and it's also just something that's so real that everyone can relate to.
How about you, Max?
I think there's two for me. One, just from like thematically, again, dealing with this technology. This is something that over 2 billion people around the world use, on a regular basis. That affects all of us. That is interesting to me. And it's terrifying because people can take advantage of the comfortability we feel with technology. But from the film perspective, I watched it again last night. And what scares me the most is seeing these characters turn. Seeing a different person 1 second after seeing who I thought the person was that I was looking at. And it's those turns that gave me the heebie-jeebies, and I can't wait for the world to really get to see that.
Yeah. Also, I think just because you shoot someone and they're lying on the ground, don't trust that. Go ahead and put another arrow in it just to be sure. I watched that and I'm like, I've seen this too many times. She's going to get you. All right, so we like to ask all of our filmmakers a very nerdy question, and here's what it is. If you could have a weapon of choice or a superpower from within the nerd universe, besides a bow and arrow, we've already covered that. You got to choose something else. But if you could have something to fight the forces of evil, what would you choose for yourself? And I'll start with you, Jordan. Yeah, this is the toughest question you'll get because you're not prepared for it.
I guess, the character I've always been the most interested in is Jean Grey from the X-Men world.
Nice.
She is the most powerful, but she's also got that dark side, obviously, that she has to kind of temper. So yeah, I would say Jean Grey. Whatever.
Yeah.
Super.
All of her powers.
Yes,
Yeah. Well, I mean, she is the most powerful mutant, so.
Yeah.
Great answer. Max, how about you?
So I don't know a character that has this ability, so maybe I'm making it up, but probably not. But the ability to force anyone into the truth, where you could get the truth out of anybody at any given moment. I think, again, just playing on the idea of seeing one person one way and then next second it's a completely different person. If you could get the truth 100% out of any given person at any given time, I think that would be a pretty incredible superpower.
Well, Wonder Woman has, the lasso of truth, but I figure if you could, be able to touch someone and they just automatically start rattling off the truth, I think that'd be a great power too.
That would be really neat. Yeah.
Right, especially with directors, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I need it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it was like I said, it was a very interesting film. I loved the ultimate twist to it. Also had a very Resident Evil video game feel to it, which we love at that nerd show. So can't wait to see the reactions with it. It was one of our favorites that we've seen, in the last year or so. So